Hi, so I just want to use this video as an introduction to our course. I'm really looking forward to working with everyone and getting to know all of you as we move through the semester, and thought it might be nice to start off with you seeing my face and hearing my voice and getting a sense of me and who's behind the screen. But I also thought that it's probably easiest to give you a little introduction and orientation like this than just through written instructions. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the syllabus together. We're going to take a look at the structure of our website, our Blackboard website here, and talk a little bit, I think, in a second video about our term paper and just some overall things to know. So let's start here by looking at the syllabus, which you're going to find over here in the left-hand toolbar. And we can open it up, and actually let's switch this up here. I'm going to look at it from your point of view, right? So you're always going to land on this announcements page, and always make sure you look to see these announcements. You're also going to get these announcements to your college email, so make sure you're checking your college email and remembering that it won't forward to any other emails. You actually have to check your college email. But let's take a look at the syllabus. You'll see that I've separated out the syllabus and a college policies document. The college policies document is the stuff that is true of all of your classes because it comes from the college, and the syllabus is just going to be what's true for us. So we have all of this initial stuff here, and I'm going to replace this URL with a much simpler URL. I'll take care of that. And those will be where my office hours are. So the office hours are listed here, and we'll have virtual office hours. I will need you to notify me before the start of office hours that you want to meet, and I'll give you a slot within the hour. If I don't hear from you, I'm not necessarily going to just be sitting on the computer waiting for people to show up. So do keep that in mind, but I'd love to see people in office hours, and it's another opportunity also for us to see each other's faces by doing video office hours. And if there's ever a time that you need to meet with me at a different time, you can ask and we can see what we can arrange. Okay. I've said in earlier emails, you do need the textbook. And I've given you information in earlier emails about ways you might get that more inexpensively. And then these learning outcomes, you'll also see versions of these repeated in each one of our chapter modules. So that's a good way of kind of orienting yourself within each chapter to what you should need to know. And this is an online asynchronous course, which means that that we do not have scheduled times to meet, that you don't need to be available at any specific times. Work is due on specific dates, but you can get it done at any time you want. We'll talk a little bit about the fact that I want to offer to you guys the ability, for those of you that want it, to meet weekly to live online to talk about the chapter content. But we'll talk about that in a little while. And so we have the grading, and here's the part that you really want to spend some time talking about, I know. So let me go over this a little bit, which is how will you earn your grade? We use a 1,000-point system for this class. I use a 1,000-point system for all of my classes. I think it's a very transparent grading model. But I also like it because it allows you to keep every point you earn. So if you don't do well on an exam, let's say you get the exams are worth 150 points. Let's say you get a 75 on an exam, which wouldn't be great. Normally that would be a 50%. That's a failing grade. You get 0 credit for that exam, right? You get an F for it. And it's as if you didn't show up for the exam, which always to me feels unfair. You knew half the material. It feels like you should get credit for half the material. In a 1,000-point system, if you earn 75 points, while you still lose half the points, you keep those 75 points that you've earned. So it's one of the things I like best about that 1,000-point system. And you'll see in Blackboard as we go along, it's just a running total that you are just earning points towards 1,000 the whole way through. If you earn extra credit points, which are available in some ways, those just get added to your total. So it brings you closer to 1,000. So I really like this system. And if you haven't encountered it before, I hope you'll get used to it and also think that it's a nice way of grading. To earn your grade, you're going to have 3 exams. They'll be 150 points each. So all three of them together are just a little bit less than half your grade. There'll be essay exams, and so there typically will be 4, maybe in one case 5 essays that you'll do. They'll be timed. You'll have 2 hours per exam. They'll be open for several days, and you'll be able to go in anytime you want during those several days and take the exam. Once you start it, you've got a 2-hour window. There's no pausing it and coming back to it, but you can take it at any time, at any 2-hour period during that time. I have provided study guides. I can show you those in a little bit. Let me go back to, actually I can show you right now. Right, and so there are study guides right here. And so you can see, for each exam, what I'm going to ask you to know and what you should be able to do is really what I've put here. So these are going to match closely to what I want you to be able to do on the exam. And those are also, you'll see those again on our main course material page. So 3 exams. You also will have a term paper. It's a big chunk of your grade. It's 200 points. We're going to talk about that in a separate video. So we'll hold off on talking about that, but know that that's there. And then you do have online quizzes for each of our 12 modules. You'll see here, though, in front of you that you only need to complete 11 of them to earn full credit. So 110 points is the will help you towards 1,000. If you take all 12 of the online quizzes, then you get 120 points instead of 110. That's just an extra 10 points. You have extra credit. So you can miss one without hurting your grade, but if you take all of them, you can help your grade some. And those you can take twice each. So they're really what I think of as a formative assessment, meaning it's to get you to understand some basic material right near the beginning of the module. So you read the chapter, you take the quizzes, and so you get 2 shots at it. The first time you take it, it'll show you which questions you had wrong. And if you go in and look at your graded exam, and then you can, kind of know which answers to give the same and which questions you need to rethink about. And those will be based on the textbook rating. And so I just count the higher of the 2 grades in the end towards your grade. And then finally, there's 12 Blackboard discussions, 1 for each of the modules we do. Those are 20 points each for a total of 240 points. And some of those will be what I call muddiest points questions, which is you have to raise a question for something you want to engage with more deeply or understand better. And then some of them will be more specific prompts where I'm asking you to talk about something very specific. Regardless of what type of discussion it is, you need to have an initial post done and then later reply to at least 2 classmates. And so this is our way of interacting with each other, or one of our main ways of interacting with each other. There also, there's no makeups for the module quizzes. Some of you will ask me that along the way, and the answer is that you have many days to do those, that there just aren't makeups for those. But there are makeups for the 3 exams. So if you miss an exam at the end of the semester, there is an opportunity to make up that exam. So keep that in mind as you're going through. I will take late papers, the term paper, I will take late papers within the week in which it's due, but there's a 10-point deduction per day. Obviously, if something extraordinary is happening in your life and you reach out to me proactively, I can try to be more flexible, but those are kind of the basic rules. And then on the syllabus, you'll see a fairly detailed schedule. And so our modules all open on a Monday and close on a Sunday. And so you have work due for the first time on Thursday for each module, and then the last work due on Sunday. So that will be our rhythm throughout the course. And so it becomes pretty predictable. And I would print out or save to a device this calendar. And so you can see, for example, right, this is our first day of class, our course orientation opens. There's some activities, ungraded activities that you need to do in that, and those should be done by Sunday. And then next Monday, our very first module opens. Our chapter module for chapter 1 opens. You've got a quiz and first discussion post due on Thursday the 3rd, and then replies to your classmates on that discussion by Sunday the 6th. And so that's going to be the same all the way through. And you'll see on here right? That we have exam 1 that happens after the first 4 chapters. It opens on a Monday. You've got until Saturday to get it done, and you can choose any 2-hour window in there to get that done. And then, right, so you can see exam 2, you can see this is very, very predictable. We do have a week later in the semester, right around leading up to Thanksgiving, where instead of focusing on a module, there's going to be, I'll have sign-up times for individual consultation about your term paper, so that makes sure that you're on strong foundation and good standing as you finalize your work with your term paper to maximize your grade for that. And so it's a little bit of a pause while you work on the term paper, a little bit of pause, let you catch your breath in general, and then we come back from the Thanksgiving holiday. Your term paper's due, we have 1 more module, and then we're done. So make sure you always have a copy of the syllabus at the ready. Download it, print it out, whatever works best for you. And then I just want to look overall at the structure of the course. And so the first thing you're going to be looking at is this getting started module, which you're already in if you're looking at this, the course orientation, right? And so you can see, that you can kind of click on each thing here, right? And it'll show you everything in this side window, and so on and so forth, right? So you can see, you've got PowerPoint slides here, activities and assignments. So you have all of these to click through. But I want to look at the first kind of regular module. So let's see right here, right? And so this is what the modules are mostly going to look like. That getting started looks just a little different. But for each module, and this is module 1, which will open up for you on Monday, the 31st. And I think I actually made it available on the 29th. But you've got learning objectives, what you should be able to do by the end, so it gives you a little bit of focus. And then you're always going to have lecture slides that are going to open for you, that you're going to click through. And these are things that you can open. Their PDF files, so you can open them and save them if you want to. You'll always have this reading and videos. There's a whole bunch of things in this first module because I want to give you some review of research and make sure that you understand the research issues and other interesting and applicable things to read that relates to the chapter information from the textbook, but expands on it often in some other ways. And then you'll always have activities and assignments. So for the first module, right, as with all of them, you're going to have this quiz that's due. You're going to have first this module 1 discussion. You're going to have a discussion in every chapter. And then for mod 1, you also have this additional assignment that you need to do that relates to your term paper. And it's just about choosing a focus for your term paper. But we'll come back to that in a second. Right, and so on this page, you can see that right now you can only see module 1. The modules will appear here in order as we get to them. So you're not going to be able to see them before. I want everyone focusing and working on the same work at the same time to make sure that we engage deeply with each piece of work. But you can see already that the exams are here, or at least the notification of the exam is here, as well as the information from the study guide. So those are right on this main page. You've got your term paper submission box here, and up here at the top, what we'll talk about in the next video, you've got this, the explanation of the term paper assignment. And so, so everything you need, once we get past this getting started, everything you need is in this course material page. You'll be able to link everything from this page or from the folders within this page. And that hopefully keeps everyone from on task and focused and from missing everything. And I think maybe hopefully decreases anxiety just a little bit, so that everything feels well put together. So before I finish here, I want to say a couple of things. First, I want you to take a look at this live meeting survey. If you haven't done it yet, please click on that. It'll bring you to a Blackboard survey. The survey results are anonymous. So it's not like a test in Blackboard, but it is, I can't see who's saying what. This is an opportunity if you guys want it. And if you don't, it's fine with me, right? It's actually less work for me. But if you guys want it, I want to give you the opportunity for us to have live video meetings once a week as a way of, not for me to lecture, but as a way of, kind of think of it as a review session or a study session for that chapter, so that you guys can come in and ask questions. I can ask, this is a particularly important concept. How well did you know this? But it gives us a chance to talk about things. For some students, that may make you feel less alone with your learning. If you learn better in an interactive way, it might be an opportunity for that. I've given 3 different times on Wednesdays when I would be available. I'm only going to choose one of those times, and I'm going to do it based on how likely there is to be a group of students in attendance at that time. So I've asked you whether you can come at that time, but then also how likely you are to come at that time each week. If I don't have like a sizable portion of students who want that, then I won't organize it, won't use the time in that way. But then there's always my office hours, which can be used individually in that way. So please go on and take that survey if you haven't done that already. And then the last thing I want to say here, just real briefly, is just to acknowledge, and I'm going to put this out in writing as well, but just to acknowledge that in the middle of a pandemic, I know that life doesn't feel normal for lots of us, and that some of you, maybe many of you or all of you, have had your lives disrupted in a number of ways. I will be as understanding as I possibly can over the course of the semester if challenges arise in your life. It's much easier for me to be reactive to your challenges and supportive of you and your challenges if I know that they're happening as they're happening. If you come to me in December to tell me that you were struggling with personal issues, or you were sick, or a family member was sick during the semester, it's much harder at that point for me to do anything for you. And so I will be mindful of where we are. If it turns out that infection rates rise and all of us are, more anxious or more challenged, I will address that in various ways. Hopefully that won't happen, right? Hopefully we stay in this place where we are in terms of infection rates. But if there's something private happening for you, or personal happening for you, that may not be reflected in the general state of things, I do hope that you'll let me know so that I can try to be supportive to you in a challenging time. Okay? All right. So again, I look forward to getting to know all of you. Look for a second video about the term paper, and we will go from there. Thanks.